All
Okay.
right. So to publish it, you click on, well, the first thing to do in terms of quality assurance, and I think we did this, but let's just do it again, is let's test the starting document. Because if you upload the starting document, it should score 0.
Okay.
So again, on the bottom left, the first icon is where you go ahead to click and test any files that you want. So go ahead and click that. And go ahead and browse and find the starting document, which is right there. And go ahead and upload for test. Go ahead and close that. Click OK. And then it's the second icon on the bottom that lets you see the score without having to be in MyLab IT.
Okay.
And perfect. Scored is 0, so we're not giving any free points to students.
Okay.
That's just a good test. It's in general. So go ahead and say done. And now we're going to go ahead through the publish process and get this into your course. It's, again, this is a little bit of a convoluted process, but once it's there, it works and it really helps.
Okay.
So the third icon with the little globe on it in the bottom right, that's your publish. So go ahead and click that. What it's going to do, it's going to go through a whole slew of tests, as you can see, to just check the document. And if anything is wrong, there'll be an X. So this gives you an idea of, you know, how many instructions I can have and so on. So the main thing we have to do before we can publish is test the final document, because it has to score 100%. And so you just click on the test final document. And in the background, it's going to take your final document and upload it and then go through the grading process. And if it gives you a checkbox, which it should, perfect.
Okay.
So now scroll down and go ahead and click Publish Now. And project is published. At this point, you can go ahead and close the project creation tool. You don't even have to say done.
Okay.
So just go ahead and close the project creation tool because we're done with it. Just close the window.
Just close PCT or the entire window?
Yeah, just to close the whole window. You don't have to,
Okay.
So the way that this works is it's a two-step process, and this is the bizarre part. We have to go into an area of MyLab IT that a lot of faculty don't touch, which is the library or the question database. And so we're going to create a question of a grader type with this grader project that you just did, and then we're going to create a grader project and add that question to the grader project.
Okay.
So if you click on on the arrow on course materials up in the, and go to manage question bank.
Okay.
And go ahead and scroll down a little bit and click on add course materials. So this is a question bank. This is a place that you could go and create your own questions, create your own question banks if you really want to. I'm just saying. And choose grader project.
Where is the grader project?
In the list.
Okay.
Yeah, no worries. I want you to find it. So go ahead and give the question a title. Now, the title, this is not what the students see, because this is, again, a question type. I still suggest that you use the same name you're going to provide to the students for this, just to make it consistent. Okay? Then click on Add Answer. The gray box, the gray bar. It says Add Answer.
Okay.
I know, a lot of clicks. Click on Select Project or Instruction Variation. This is going to open up the project creation tool, but it's going to open up in the Pearson library. Click on the first tab, My Projects. Any projects that are published, the last project is published will be sorted at the top. mouse over the project, and over on the right side, click on Select Project. So every project has a unique ID. As you can see, yours is 8,000 something. It puts in the maximum points. And go ahead and click Save and Close. So this is, again, creating a question in the question bank. So now we go to the arrow on course materials and go to add from a library. So on the My Course side, the right side, once it comes up, do you have a specific folder you want to put these in?
Yeah, I'll put it in Excel, formulas and functions.
Okay. So go ahead and create materials on the My Course side, and we're going to create a grader project. I usually choose assessment just because, again, the connotation of a grader homework means that the instructions would be in the book also, if the student really knew that. Keep in mind that it's set for whatever, if you didn't change the number of attempts, grader project assessments are set for 2 attempts by default.
Yeah, I changed that. I normally give them 3.
So if it's changed, then it'll pick up that change. Go ahead and click on that. And then again, we want to put the activity name in, which is the same as what you just wrote. So this is what the students will actually see. And go ahead and scroll down and click Save and Continue. Oh, stop for a minute. Me bad. Scroll down. See, this is where one thing. See where it says evaluate by I'm sorry, this is my fault. My Lab IT, you must have that checked.
This one?
Yeah. So what I've asked the product team to have that checked by default because you're creating a grader project. Essentially, that means that this is going to be evaluated by our grading engine. So if that's not, if you forget to check that and click Save and Continue, it won't grade.
Grade it, okay.
And then there's no way even, and if you remember, oh crap, I forgot to check that, you have to then delete out the item and re-add it because there's no way to go back and edit that. Yeah, I know. That's probably the most, this is probably the most important step in the process.
Okay.
Go ahead and save and continue. And now it's going to come up on the question tab. If you can click on where it says add questions.
It's still.
It's going, it's done. Yeah. And then select from a questions from a bank. And if we did this right, this is going to bring up the question bank. And if you scroll down to the bottom, that grader project question should be there.
Okay.
As soon as it comes up. And there it is. So you just have to select that. Click on add.
Why does it have a question mark?
Because it's a question.
Okay.
So it's a question of a grader type.
Okay.
Go ahead and add and close. And that's it. If you scroll down and click Save and Return, it'll pick up any of the preferences you have. It'll always ask you to save a copy to your course materials library. I just simply click Add and Close once it renders here. So go ahead and click Add and Close. I would not put it in any folder.
Okay.
Just add and close. Yeah. And that's it. So what you're going to see, it's coming. It'll be hidden by default. It'll be it should be in that folder. It should be at the bottom of that folder. Yeah. There it is. And this is the part that I think is kind of cool because you created. If you click on it to open it up, and you go look at the.
And it's exactly the same.
You look at the instructions. Do preview steps. It's your project.
Oh, wow.
I always like that part because it's kind of cool to me.
How it put everything.
Yeah. And if you go to download materials, the instructions are auto-generated. So it's going to pick up that. There is, as you can see, because
last
we
name
changed
the
last name of it with the isolate assumptions, which is what we wrote. Otherwise, it would have been that.
Okay.
And it acts just like any other grader project.